Jesus to me has been my very being. He's like a companion to me for life. I always believe that if we have problems and difficulties in life, that does not mean the end of the world, but it's a reminder to me to be in alignment with my true purpose for what God has designed me to be in this world. So if I have any difficulties or problems, I have changed my perspective towards life. It is not to put me down, but it is just to raise me up from where I have gone wrong. I am a Goan by origin, born to Catholic parents. Today I am 38 years now. I have studied in a convent school and I graduated in the field of science. Later on in the year 2000, I got married and I'm blessed with 2 children. One is my daughter Sasha, who is 11 years old, and my son Cyrus, who is 2 years old now. My first retreat here at the Divine was way back in 1995, where I attended the retreat with one of my friend and her mother, and those were my college days. We heard about the Divine Center and we thought, why don't we go and attend a retreat? And that's how I was present over here. We looked at the crowd, we looked at everything, and it was a kind of a curiosity for us for the first 2 days, whether everything would go, how would we spend our first 1 week over here. But it was a very beautiful experience right from then. We too participated in all the sessions, and almost at the end of the retreat, when Father Augustine was at the adoration, doing the adoration, he started calling out names of different people. And in that, he happened to call out to me also, not with my official name. At home, everybody calls me Sweetie. So he called me out with that name, Sweetie, and he said, I've carved you on my palm and you are special to me. I was very thrilled with this, It made me feel so special and blessed. After listening to this message, for quite some days, I was just wondering, God could make fathers just speak out my name over there in such a big crowd. So how special I am for Him. Later on, I got married in the year 2000. And after getting married, I started sailing with my husband. He is a captain in Merchant Navy. So I kind of started sailing with him. I visited a lot of countries. And life was beautiful. Then we decided to have a child, and God blessed us with a baby in the year 2003. I got a beautiful daughter who's now 11 years old. And down there, again, after when she was 1 year old, we decided to sail with her also. So we started going about taking her also on board the ship. But somewhere down the line, we decided to have another child as a companion for my daughter. And of course, as a couple who would always think of having another baby. So I conceived back again in 2006. The pregnancy was going fine, but just after the 3rd month, I had a bleeding problem. The doctor took care of it. He said there's nothing wrong, but he advised me bed rest. So after the 3rd month onwards, for the next 4 months, I was totally on bed. For the sake of the baby, I had to be only sleeping, just get up only for certain activities, but I was not allowed to move around too much anywhere. And this is the time I realized, I really had a realization that there is so much time here and I can do nothing about it. I just need to lie down on bed for the sake of the child. But I also realized that when God gives us time, what do we do about it? Where do we actually spend it? Do we spend it to get productivity in our life, or are we just spending it and wasting time and then later on realizing that God is not working anything in our life? So there was a deep realization about this thing. Going on bed rest was really not a big issue for me at that time, because I knew that I am doing it for a purpose. I knew that I would be giving birth to a child, and for the sake of the baby, I had to do it all. But there was something different in store for me. In the 8th month, the doctor told me that the baby is not fine. The baby is having deformities, and I was really shocked to hear that. I did not want to hear anything else. I just told the doctor, let's continue the pregnancy and let me just go ahead with it. So in the month of May in 2007, I delivered a baby girl, and she was really deformed. She did not even cry. I had to go through a cesarean operation because of that. And I lost the baby. She survived for 40 minutes, but in that 40 minutes we baptized her. Somehow my mother immediately managed to get a priest and baptize her, and we named her as Shannon Jade. But she passed away after 40 minutes. I started feeling very bitter towards life. I had thousands of questions bombarding my mind as to why this thing God had to do to me. Even like a baby, I would ask him, if you had to take my child away, why did you at the first place get me conceived? Why did you get me pregnant? This was like one of the few questions I would ask God, But I would get no answers. At the same time, somewhat I'll tell you that God did not allow me to sink into this bitterness for a long time, because even before there was something very strange that happened when I was carrying the baby in the last stages. Especially whenever I used to close my eyes, I used to see these colors flashing in front of me. Suddenly I used to see vibrant colors just coming in front of my eyes. I could not understand what it was. This thing continued even after the delivery. After I came back home, after the operation, after everything was settled down, whenever I used to go to sleep and all these things started flashing into my eyes. Eventually some fabrics, different type of colors, all these things started coming up. So I had no answer for this. And one day on the table over the breakfast, I just told my husband, I want to go and join a fashion design course. He got speechless. He's wondering what I'm speaking now. So he was doubting what exactly I'm trying to tell him. So I said, I really want to go and join a fashion design course. And I know, having my daughter with me, I can't go out of Goa. I can't go and pursue a good designer course. And I had to do it within my means. So I just joined a course in my town just for 1 year. Believe me or not, within 1 month of a cesarean operation, I carry my bag and I go and attend a course. So when you go and do this stuff, you start learning about designs, you start learning about figures, how to dress up these figures. Where was the time to ponder over something that I lost? I really felt God was filling that emptiness of mine. And believe me or not, I started unleashing such kind of creativity. I did not even know that this was lying inside me so dormant. Somewhere in this world, I'd never ever thought that one day I would pursue this as my career. I pursued this as my field of being a fashion designer. But at that stage when I was going for the course, everything started changing, and I was so beautifully dwelled into it. Slowly, I started getting away from all the negative things what happened to me. Yes, I do remember my daughter. I do remember that she's always a guardian angel for me to guide me. But I don't look at it as a negative thing. I feel how God says in the Bible, Jesus said, pick up your mat and just walk. He doesn't have to be physically present to tell me that. I just feel He's telling me, pick up your mat and walk. I'm there with you. And He was there. After 1 month, is it possible to just go and attend a course? I don't think so. And that too with a cesarean operation. That's what I felt. Later on, I felt that this was a career which I was feeling happy about, and why not pursue in this? And things were happening for me. Eventually, I stitched more outfits, and as the flow was going, I found it very natural. I didn't feel that I'm stressing myself in this particular field. I felt very beautiful in choosing fabrics and creating designs, matching so many different patterns, and this was a kind of a very beautiful thing to happen. Eventually, very soon in 2008, in the month of May, I started my business in this cloth line with a sari designing. I started designing saris according to the customers. It was like custom made. It was like for them, they would give me the colors or the patterns and I would design accordingly. These were not ready-made saris, but they were like catered to the customer. I kind of got a good response also from them. And believe me, if I had to continue my business, it would have been already done by now. Because immediately just by verbal marketing itself, I was getting positive replies. People started wanting, they liked the idea of me giving them the kind of products which were catering to their needs. But that was another thought in my mind. I just thought to myself, if I start business is like a baby itself. I need to take care of it. And deep inside me, there was still a desire of having a child. I had never closed my doors to having a baby at that time. Just because I lost one baby did not make me stay away. I did not fear of having another child. So I told my husband that I shouldn't be continuing this business. Business will happen later. We should be going for another baby. I gave up work. I stopped that business. I kind of sent my workers back. And immediately after this decision, I conceived, no doubt. I conceived again. But I have no answer for this to tell you again. In the very early stages itself, I lost the baby and the pregnancy could not be continued. So I do not want to talk about it too much. In the very early stages itself, I lost this child. And at this point of time, I was very, very devastated. Again, I was so devastated because the doctors told me that there is a kind of a problem in you and you should not be thinking of having more children. They told me for my well-being, they said, you should be, you're risking your own life for the sake of having a child every time. And this was the second time I'm losing a baby. I was so devastated. I was wondering why am I conceiving and why such a thing is happening? But eventually I accepted the fact, okay, the doctors are saying that I should not go for a child. But deep inside me, I really had a desire of having a baby. But I gave up. I said, okay, let me accept this as a fact of life. Doctors telling me not to have, okay, fine. And then things were not moving fine for me. I was going quite down in life. I was not even picking up calls from my friends because I had to tell them the same thing again and again. I was just keeping myself into one room, thinking, questioning. I got very emotional. This time was even worse actually, because now kind of a thing was being told to me not to have a baby at all. So absorbing this fact was not easy for me. But kind of I settled. I started looking at my daughter and I said, being grateful, at least I got one daughter. Everyone started telling me the same thing, at least you got one daughter, Jovita, you got one daughter, you continue with your life. So I started accepting the fact that, okay, that this is it. I put an end to having more children. And eventually I came in for a retreat here in October. And somehow I came to, actually I didn't come with a greater purpose. I just came here to thank God, saying that, okay, I want to start my life fresh again. And just thank you for the child that you have given me. My daughter was growing and thank you for all that. But there was something very strange, very wonderful, very beautiful, or something which I cannot even explain. When I went for a counseling session, Dr. Ramila, I told her, doctor, I don't have anything much to tell you. I just want to tell you that this is the story of my life, this is what happened. But it's fine. Doctors told me not to have a baby and I want to go ahead that way. It's fine. I just came here to get a spiritual blessing and to start my life fresh all over again. But Dr. Ramila told me that she just looked straight into my eyes and she said, one day you are going to conceive, you are going to have a baby, and this baby is going to be a male born. You're going to give birth to a son. And one day you are going to come at this divine center and stand in front of the stage and give a testimony of the birth of this child. You're going to stand in front with your son. I came here for a retreat in 2009 and that was a time when I was quite distressed. I have a daughter who's 11 years old, and after that I had 2 pregnancy complications. As a couple, we thought we should have a companion for the next and have another child, but somehow I lost 2 babies, and the gynec gave up on me. And I don't want to break down, but it's happening. I closed my doors to having another child. I thought I'll start my life all over again. I just came to thank God here. At least you've given me 1 daughter. And somehow I just went for the counseling, and I just started that way only. I just told the counselor, Dr. Ramila, that I just want to start. These are my words. I just want to start my life again. This thing happened. The doctor told me you can't have another child. All those reasons. But she looked straight into my eyes and told me that you are going to conceive one day, and you're going to give birth to a child, and the child is going to be a son, and one day you will be coming and standing on the stage and going to testify this. I don't know how would you have anyone taken this message. I was shocked actually. I was speechless. I did not know what to say, because I immediately responded back to this, what she told me. I said, but why, doctor? Why would God take me through all these things? Why didn't He give me a child? I've lost babies, and you're giving me this message? I was like not ready to accept it, because I was in that kind of a state of a mind. I told her very innocently, doctor, I can't accept what you're telling me, because it's kind of bringing fear inside me, because I'm not prepared to go in for a pregnancy, and you're talking about me giving birth to a child. I questioned her, and she was so confident, I gave up on me. At that point, I gave up on me. The doctors gave up on me, but God never gave up on me. She opened up the Bible and she gave me quotations which were very close to what she had told me, and she was so confident. How would she say that? She's telling me you are going to give birth to a son, and how could she tell me that way? I was wondering, but she was very confident, and somewhat I felt really God is speaking to her. Looks like no one will talk to you directly like this. Finally, from there I said, because doctor, you're saying this, I'm accepting, but I am not really prepared for it, but I'm accepting this message what God has given me. I came back to Goa. I never ever thought of having a baby again. Still, I'm not thinking of having. And I joined a financial company. I worked as a financial advisor for 1 year. The retreat was in 2009, but in 2010, I worked as an advisor. It was a new world for me. I took the training. I was really doing so good over there. I was meeting new clients. The way they would respond to me, it was so beautiful. I really started doing so well in the company. I was rated at one point in the top 10% in the entire country for the company, And this gave me such a boost. I felt so much confident of myself. But I said, suddenly I just even forgot what Dr. Ramila spoke to me. But again in the year 2011, I just had a conversation with my husband. I said, my years are passing by. I'm not getting younger to have a baby or something like that. But do you know something? I said, I just want to go and... I just happened to talk to him like this. Let's go and visit a gynec in Bombay. I don't know what to say. I was not in a state to meet any doctor at that point over there. But I just said, let me go and meet a really good gynec in Bombay. We went to Bombay in February 2011. And we met through some reference of my family member. I met one doctor in Bridge Candy Hospital. And that time the doctor said, there's nothing wrong with you. Why don't you? He did some pre-pregnancy tests on me, and he said, but ultimately he also ended up, he said, God is there. Why are you worried? We'll carry forward. You go back to Goa and just don't think about anything. I cannot give you any treatment. You're just so fine in having a baby. You just go and let's see what happens. And to add to it, really, when I immediately came from Bombay, even I was not prepared for having a baby. It was very easy. I felt it was very easy for the doctor to say that, but it's not easy for me to give a thought of being pregnant again. But God was, I felt going and meeting this doctor in Bombay was God intervention. When I came back, I somehow encountered and I went and I met a psychologist. There also I felt it was having beautiful interactions with the doctor, beautiful counseling sessions. I also felt the presence of God over there. He was actually giving a new dimension to my life. Believe me or not, he was actually, because I've always been a very fearful person to get the end product, to do something. I had a lot of ambitions, a lot of aims in life, but always feared to take that step. This doctor really helped me a lot. After listening, going to her, eventually it became very natural that one fine day I just told my husband, like, okay, let's go in for having the child now. I was prepared. In this entire process of having a baby and all the difficulties what I encountered, my husband also has gone through a very low phase, but he would not try to show it to me. He did not try to show his sadness or that how he also must have felt, but I used to hardly bother what he would have been feeling. He always tried, he never intervened in trying to tell me, okay, let's go for the child now, you're not getting younger. He never tried to do all these things. As I did my course, he was okay, he was fine with it. When I took my orders, he was fine. It was actually me, I told him, after taking the orders, that once business starts, I don't think so, I'll think of a baby. So it was me who took the initiative. And later on, even when I lost the baby again, and I joined as an advisor, even that time, he never imposed on me, that we should be having right away. He never showed any kind of anxiety into this. So I'm quite grateful to God for having his cooperation with me in this entire process. And especially when we went to Bombay, when we went and I started visiting this doctor at Bridge Candy Hospital, then all the reports, my state was such that I really did not even want to look at those reports. Everything I used to just dump it to him. Every time the report came, every time something was told, I should just push it to him. As if like I don't want to hear anything negative. You just see if it's fine, you just see the reports, you just see. So everything he has taken care of. In the month of October 2011, I conceived. I just forgot at that stage of my life that I was being told. All this didn't occur to me at that point. I was only interested like, okay, the baby should be fine and all. At that point of time, there was no complication at all. Everything was going fine. Doctor did not give me any extra treatment. I conceived just like any other normal woman. I carried through the pregnancy like just any other normal woman would do. There were no extra medications given to me, nothing. The baby was growing just fine. Everything went so fine. I was like, okay, especially when I crossed the 5th month, 6th month, I started feeling at ease and I started feeling a lot of peace because the main stages of the pregnancy were getting over. My son was born on 21st of May. Everything went fine. The baby was fine. And after the delivery, on the 3rd or the 4th day, I can't remember, I remembered everything what was told to me here at Divine in 2009. That memory started coming. Dr. Ramila's face flashed in front of me and I was totally in silence for a moment. And I remembered everything now. I said, why did I almost forgot all these things? I had been told that I would be giving birth to a child and it would be a baby boy, but I did not remember this in the pregnancy stage. And this memories come back again and everything what was told to me came true. And today I came here at the Divine Center to complete that last thing what the counselor had told me. She told me one day you will be coming here and testifying this. She said one day you're going to come here. She's just pointing out and you're going to testify this. And this is the moment. This is my son who has been born by the revelation of God over here. When I closed my doors of having a baby.
We praise God. We praise God with you.
He's Cyrus. And really, I truly did that. I took my son and I took him on the stage and I gave a testimony of this, and I really praise and thank God for this. With all this, what I would like to say is that life has not come to an end, but it's rather a beginning to a new venture in life. And God has kind of made me deeply rooted in His faith. At one point, reasoning stops and faith overtakes everything. And there is no questioning in faith. There is logic. You can apply logic to anything else in this world, but you cannot apply your logic to understanding your God. You just cannot apply. You just need to have that innocent faith and move ahead in life. But one thing which is very important, I believe, is take action. Take that step from your side. I don't believe in like God says and then it will just happen like a magic. It doesn't happen that way. What I have seen is His guiding light at every point of time. Whenever I have taken action, He's been there for me. And now there is no turning back in my life. The kind of grace that God has filled me with, the kind of confidence, I only feel I just need to spread it to the world in some way or the other. That's my dream.